What up, folks? AD here. Got another fantastic video. So today, the inspiration for this video was sparked by a conversation that I had with my friend, actually one of my roommates, the other day. And I think you guys are really going to like this one. This is something that I think about a lot. And I try to apply this a lot in my day-to-day life now. But I'm talking specifically about the topic of time management and how it relates to actually achieving the goals that we set for ourselves and living a life of fulfillment. So if you're interested in achieving goals and living in fulfillment, you're gonna love this video. Anyways, so like the first step is kind of like becoming aware of how much time we actually have on a daily and weekly basis. Like and like realizing like we spend like literally think when I'm talking about time throughout this video and talking about spending time, I literally want you to think about spending time the same way that you would spend money. Like you are literally giving it away. Every time that you put your attention into something, you are literally, that time is gone. You are never going to get back. So just bear that in mind. But so in a weekly basis, right, we have, let's see here, we have 168 hours on a weekly basis to live. That is a total sum of the time that we have. All of us have that same 168 hours on a weekly basis, right? So the question is, how do some people achieve such greater things than other people when we all have the same base unit of measurement, which is this 168 hours a week, right? So we're gonna get more into this. So 168 hours a week, right? We all, on an average person is gonna sleep 56 hours a week or 8 hours a night. So 56 hours a week. So the average person has 100, after they've slept, they have 112 waking hours to do stuff, right? And like for me, in my position currently, I have a part-time day job that I have to do because my income from my entrepreneurial endeavors has not equal or surpassed the amount of money I make. I have to work this job to hold down a house, to have food to eat, pay my phone bill, and just do the basic things that keep me alive, right? So if I put in this time that I have to work this 30-hour a week job, so now I'm down to 82 hours, right? If I spend the hour a day that I spend preparing and eating food and the hour a day that I spend commuting and showering and getting ready, but subtract another 14 hours out of my week, now I'm on 68 hours a week. If I track just the time necessary for me to get my ass out of bed in the morning, which is usually takes about like 10 to 15 minutes of like actually like arising, right? So that's like another 3 hours a week I just lost, right? So now I'm down to 65 hours a week. For me, I'm in counseling right now, so I go to counseling 5 hours a week with a commute, so that's another 5 hours out of my week. I also have to like do the basics of like exercising consistently, so I subtract another 5 hours out of that, right? So I have 55 hours, 55 hours a week outside of like after I've done the basics that the has to be done. This is like categorize this. The has to be done. The fucking basic work, exercise, food, shopping, whatever the fuck. The has to be done. That's a category, and that's like after all that's done for me, I have 55 hours left in the week, right? So now the next kind of step in this whole idea of time management is like we need to determine the goal, right? What do we? All these has to be done, as I just explained, are not exciting. They're not fulfilling. I do them because they're literally the bare minimum requirement for me to exist, right? So, what gets me excited? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? Short term, long term, midterm, right? What like the next 12 months? What do I want to accomplish? So the first thing you're gonna need to do is actually sit down for an hour and actually like determine like what would be really cool if I accomplished these 10 things in the next 12 months. It could be financial goals, it could be career goals, it could be social goals, it could be travel, recreation, personal development, education, right? What do I want to accomplish that gets me like I want to do this. This is gonna be good. once we've determined the goals, remember this: everyone wants better things for their lives. Most people are unwilling to make the sacrifices necessary to do it. Bear that in mind for later on in this video. So moving into the next point here. So once we've determined the goal, we have to align these goals with key activities and action steps that are actually going to produce the goal as a result in our physical life. So let's just say the goal is to save $7,000 and go to Europe for 3 weeks. That's the goal. That's your goal. What do I have to do on a daily basis or a weekly basis in order to make that happen? How much time is it going to require me? How much time is it going to require for me to actually do that on a weekly basis? So like for this goal example, let's say we have to, let's just say you're only making, $1,000 a week from your job and your expenses are $800. You're not like, you're only making $200 a week. So maybe you got to do some side jobs. So like, okay, I have to do one side job a week that will take me 8 hours. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one side job every week. I'm gonna make $300 for 8 hours of work, and all the money I make from that is gonna go into this account specifically for my trip for 3 weeks to Europe. Perfect. Okay, so there's 8 hours right there. Now I also have to consider the 30 minutes to an hour on a weekly basis that I actually have to sit down, track the money that I came in, track the finance, transfer the money, make sure that everything, all the ducks are in a row, right? Simple stuff, but it does require time. So really just, again, goal, what actions need to be done in order for this goal to actually be accomplished, and how do I fit those things scheduled into like a daily or weekly basis so I'm actually doing the activity that's going to lead to the result in the long term. This Europe thing, this is 12 months out. But what am I going to do today that's going to like slowly, because like notice these two things are not aligned right now, right? You're like, you want to go to Europe, cool, but you have to actually like do shit to make that happen. So how much are you, what are you going to do to make this happen? Like literally, it sounds like really repetitive and like iterative. I don't really know how to like say it in like a more clear way. I'm just trying to like really get you to understand that like the key activities that you do are what's going to bring the result. And those activities, keyword activities, are time based. Everything's time based. You have to literally invest your time into those activities in order to do them. So on to the next point here. Once you have like deciphered what are the action steps and the key activities on a daily basis that you need to do to accomplish the goal, you got to get to work on it right away, and then you start tracking that as well, like literally looking at are you actually spending the time necessary to achieve these goals, doing the key activities on a daily basis. And it's really like helpful to see, especially when you're like not accomplishing goals. Like I set this goal to make $20,000 and go to Europe, but it didn't happen. I only saved $2,000, and it's like, why is that? And then you start looking and like review. Like let's review the last 12 months. Like okay, I only did 4 side jobs. That makes sense. I actually only tracked the ducks like 3 times, and then I kind of like stopped, and then I started doing side jobs again, but then I wasn't saving the money, so then I actually just was spending the money on the club or the bar. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? But it's just like realizing like, and then so it's like then not only like were you not doing the like spending the time doing the right things, but you actually move in the opposite direction because you were spending your time spending money, like literally spending money that you didn't really have anyways, because that money was specifically made to achieve the goal. So you know what I mean? It's just like you got to be wary of that. But going into this last point here, so Um, a lot of this for me in my life when it comes to like aligning my days and the time I have during my days to my goals that I have for the long term so that I can actually be able to do the key activities that are going to drive the results. I have to eliminate a lot of distractions. Like I don't have social media. I haven't had social media in well over a year now, um, because I know just based on me tracking my own time usage of social media, I would waste 1 to 2 hours regularly on a daily basis. I did this for years. Like if I average it out since I was like a young kid, that when Instagram and Facebook and all that shit came out, I spent 2 hours every single day. I love this analogy here. I don't even know if it's an analogy, but I spent 2 hours every single day scrolling on social media. And maybe 5% of that was actually like useful information where I'm like consuming content that's actually gonna better my life. But let's just pretend like that's not even true because it's probably not. But 2 hours a day, right? So that I probably did that for 6 years. On average, 2 hours a day. So 2 hours a day for 6 years. Oh, this is gonna be I don't even want to look at this. Times 6. That's 4,300 hours I spent doing nothing. Literally zero things got accomplished. Now I'm gonna divide that up into days. So I always spent almost, and this is like days straight. Like just imagine like playing a video game for like days on end. 182 days I spent just scrolling on social media. Let's imagine just scrolling on social media. No, let's imagine if I did spent that same 182 hours over the last 6 years. Let's say I just spent that time making phone calls for my business, trying to sell whatever product that my business offers. That would equate out into like, what? On average, I'd say probably 10 to 15 calls an hour. So multiply that. So times 15, it'd be 65,000 calls I would have made for my business. Let's say that I got 0.5% of all of those calls to turn into paying customers. That would be, and let's say each one of those customers paid me, I don't know, fucking $100 a month for the last 6 years. Plus. That'd be, wait, retract. Anyways, point is 47,000 hours, dude. Imagine, dude, if you would spend 47,000 hours learning to play guitar, you'd literally be a fucking master playing guitar. If you spent 4,300 hours making phone calls for your business, you'd be a millionaire. If you spent 4,300 or 4,300 hours doing anything, you're gonna be really good at it. But I spent 4,300 hours in the last 6 years scrolling on social media. Okay, that's just one distraction, right? How many hours did I probably spend watching TV? Probably pretty fucking close to the same number. Now I'm looking at like 9,000 hours I just wasted. What about all the time I spent sleeping in? What about the time I spent at the fucking bars, wasting time drinking, and not just wasting the time I was there, but then wasting the consecutive days after that because I feel like shit? What about the time I spent just like randomly dating and being promiscuous and just like spending all my time and energy chasing girls? Probably more than my social media time, to be honest. That's the thing, is like all these distractions are what take away our time and focus from the key activities necessary that we should be doing on a daily basis if we want to achieve the goal. So it's just really, again, becoming aware of how we're spending our time, setting goals, figuring out what key activities are going to be necessary on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are required to be done in order to make progress towards these longer term goals. and eliminating the fucking distractions. Again, like I said, average person spends 2 hours a day scrolling on social media. If you spend 2 hours a day learning how to do anything, within 5 years, you are going to be better than 99% of people at whatever that basic skill set is. So, I don't know. I've been all over the place this video, but hope you got some value from it. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.